What's going on YouTube? It's Ninja Turtle, and today we're covering a brand new custom action figure, Supergirl, if you couldn't tell already who she's supposed to be. And yeah, finally back to making another DC custom figure. It's been, I think Wonder Woman was the last one. That was a couple months ago. So we're actually going to knock out a few of them in a rapid fire sort of way, at least as far as the next upcoming customs go. I have this Supergirl, and then a few customs from now I'll be doing 2 more DC characters, but look forward to that in the future. But as far as this Supergirl go, we're going to cover exactly what parts that I used to make her. Obviously I used red paint, so I don't need to give you advice on what paint to use. You can use whatever colors you want, but if you want yours to look somewhat like mine, I'm going to give you all of the deets on all the parts and stuff so you can assemble your Supergirl. And you know, if you don't like it, like say you don't like her hair, use different hair, use a different face. Of course, you can do whatever you want with your custom, but for those following along with this one, let's go ahead and start at the bottom. Now it's pretty standard stuff here. They're just red flats and calves, lower legs. All of that comes from a Lady Deadpool, which I don't have one available to right next to you, but it's not the default color because Lady Deadpool's, again, feet are red. So that is one advice that I would give you. I would use Lady Deadpool specifically if you're trying to go for this build, because it's already red. So you can either just remove the black paint that's on there. There's very little black paint on there, so it would be easy to remove, and which I did do that. And you can either choose to repaint it or not to. It, again, it's already red, but it being red is just me painting it. Again, I did paint both the shoes or the feet, I should say, and the lower leg, the knees, red on the outside. I didn't bother painting the inside of the shoes or inside of the knee caps or anything like that, so that way I don't have to worry about paint rub. So it's actually just red plastic all in there as well. I didn't paint the pins either, so those are the pins coming from a Lady Deadpool leg, and you can see the different color of paint versus the paint color of the plastic and the different reds. You could go as far as painting those pins so that they all match. If you're that type of person, you know, that's all right, go for it. I think it's fine, but this will eliminate paint rub entirely, so you don't have to worry about that. It's already red, so why go through all of that extra work? Now, as far as her thighs go, that's a whole nother story. So we have, in this case, I'm just going to use this Jean Grey. I think I actually did use a Jean Grey for the legs, or the thighs, I should say. Alright, these Jean Greys are not the easiest to stand, especially given my setup. But yeah, these thighs are the same thighs used on here. So it is still a rather slim leg. It's not, you know, the biggest. There's actually several sizes that are a little thicker. I still wanted Supergirl to look somewhat slim, but for the most part it is using, if it's not actually legs from this Jean Grey, it could have been a Moira or Gwen Stacy. You know, they all have the exact same legs, but it's just specifically the thigh, and then like I said, the lower leg and the knee and the foot all come from a Lady Deadpool. Now, speaking of Deadpool, we're already on the subject of Deadpool, the skirt. So this skirt was a custom made skirt using Marvel Legends parts. There are 2 parts to it. We're going to start with the top part, the belt. The belt is from a Songbird figure. So Songbird has a belt that's just like this. It does point downward a little bit, or actually no, not downward, or it's supposed to point downward, that's what I'm trying to say. But this one's more of a complete round piece. But I did sand a little bit because it is like a circle on that Songbird belt. So I sanded down a little bit on that part. But you can still see a little bit of there. It's not that big of a deal, but this is a Songbird belt. Now, the actual skirt itself is coming from a Deadpool. but not your normal Deadpool. It is the pirate Deadpool. It came out, I don't know, last year, I think. Last fall in the Deadpool wave. That was, let's see, build a figure for Strong Guy, I'm guessing. Now, I've actually used this figure for customs before on the channel, and this is, I think, the first time. And this is very uneven, my setup here, so apologies. All right, finally got him standing. So yeah, this is the second time I've actually used this figure. So the first would be, he comes with a big black cape, and it's like got like tatters, holes in it, and I used that on my Madeline Pryor. Secondly, he has like another skirt, apron, cape thing, I don't know words, that goes around his waist, and that's what I used for this skirt here for Supergirl. So you can see this seam right here, that is me folding it over and gluing it on top of itself. So this is the first time I tried that. I think in the future I would attempt to do this very same thing, but put it on the back side of the skirt, so that way it won't be the most noticeable thing. So I did it on the front. I don't know if that would work better, but it would definitely look better. It doesn't look too bad. So like I said, it is first and foremost glued to the underside of the belt. So it's not on the inside of the belt, not on the outside, it's right underneath. So going along that rim, and I took that thing from Deadpool and just glued it slowly, like one section at a time, onto this belt and wrapped it around all the way. Again, it's not on the inside of the belt, it's not on the outside, it's right on the line on the bottom of the belt. And once I got around to here on this side, that's when I just went ahead and just glued it on top of itself. And then once that glue dried, took the Dremel and sanded it down so it wasn't so thick. So it would be a lot thicker if I just left it alone. But you can still see that seam, but again, it's sanded down so it's not quite as thick. Also sanded the inside too, just a little bit, even though you're not really gonna see that. But that's how that skirt was made. And then just make sure it's cut to the right length. And I still have extra pieces of it, like, because this thing went all the way down to Deadpool's ankles, so I have like a whole nother half. I can make another skirt for another character. Maybe I use it for Supergirl in the future, maybe I'll use it for someone else, I don't know, but I can still use that. And that's kind of how I'm gonna make skirts. And you can also use like this cape, which I'll go ahead and start covering now. The cape is from a Polaris figure, so it is straight up for Polaris. So if you have extra Polaris capes around, maybe you might want to use that and just fold it over and glue it, and then you can cut it to size to fit the waist of whatever character that you're trying to use it for a skirt or a dress or something like that. There are other options as well, but that's essentially what I did to make this skirt. Now, moving on. We've got a couple of pieces here, so left to go. Very quick and simple. The torso is a blink torso, so the lower torso, that is. So it's just painted this blue color, nothing else going on there. The top is your standard Kate Bishop top, so it actually is from an Invisible Woman, which might as well say it now. Her face and her hair is Invisible Woman. The came directly off of this one. So this is the Walgreens exclusive Invisible Woman. Like I said, I took the upper torso, the head, and the hair all from this figure and used it here for Supergirl. And I think I had this idea for Supergirl about a year ago to use that head from the Invisible Woman on Supergirl about a year ago. So I'm glad I finally was able to pay it off and actually do it, and I'm very pleased at how it looks. The hair is recolored, so I did remove the eyebrow color from Invisible Woman and painted the same color as her hair. I did have to remove her hair to repaint it, and then her face is repainted the same flesh tone. It's a lot lighter than the Invisible Woman's flesh tone was, but it was repainted. But I did not remove her eye color or her lip color, so that's the exact same. that was on the Invisible Woman, and that's why her eyes look so good, because I didn't have to paint them. So kind of a coincidence that the head that I wanted to use had already blue eyes, so I don't have to worry about that. If I had to paint it, I would have, but I didn't have to, so that's just saving a step. Other than that, the arms are bodysuit arms. It came from the Black Widow Deadly Origins, the Target exclusive one. It's all white, so they have the nice flat fabric ripples in there on the arms. And then the hands also, those are the extra fists that came from this Jean Grey, so they're actually yellow. Because I don't see any reason why Marvel Girl would have fists, but Hasbro gave her fists anyway, so I decided to use them and put them here on Supergirl. Now, as far as the design goes, I should have mentioned this earlier. I was going for, I guess it is the Supergirl from Rebirth, the Rebirth Supergirl. I found like a design sheet. I don't know if it is like a official from the artist or from that era, or if somebody else did it or whatever, but I followed that design sheet as closely as I could, and that's why we have this S looking more sharp than, like, say, the classic Superman S. I'll show you that in a second. We do also have it on the back, so I did fully paint this as well. This one didn't come out nearly as clean. It is using different paint than the rest of the body. Like the skirt, the hair, and the cape are a softer, more pliable plastic, so I use acrylic leather paint, which for what it's worth works great, but it is hard to when priming it, because again, this is a Polaris cape. This was green at one point. I can still see some green in there, or at least just darker colors. It works pretty good. It doesn't work perfectly, especially with yellow, but it works pretty good. And again, this hair is also a leather acrylic paint. I think it's called Thunder Yellow. It's a little brighter yellow than I kind of wanted, but it's not too bad. I think it works fine for blondes, and I use that yellow as well on her eyebrows. So I'm glad I was able to get that in there without messing it up too much. So that's it for Supergirl. We're going to do some quick comparisons, and then that'll be it for the video. Alright, as far as our customs, these are both customs. A custom Supergirl for this video, custom Superman that I made several months ago. And just to reiterate, I mean, it's on video on the channel if you want to see a whole video covering this Superman. But to reiterate, I did not glue the cape down to his shoulders, and I regret not doing that. I wish I did, because this looks too awkward. But he does have a peg hole in his back, so that's how the cape stays on him. Now, Supergirl also has a peg hole in her back, because it is that Kate Bishop body mold. Polaris, it's a Polaris cape. There's a peg in the back of the cape, and it goes straight into the hole on her back. So not only is it actually pegged into her back, but it is made for this body mold, for what it's worth. So it fits on there, and it doesn't have any real issues. One other thing is that I used two different blues, or actually two things. I used two different blues. One because, again, I made this a long time ago, and it was pretty much the first time I had used this blue. It's called French Blue from Model Masters Acrylic. And I was like, okay, this looks really good for Superman, but I want to use a different blue for Supergirl, because I have so many blue colors, I don't know what they look like on a figure. I never get to use them. So this blue is Ford Chevy engine blue, I believe that's the name, what it's called. I really like both colors. I could have used the same color on either one. It would look fine, although I think this blue is a little too dark for Superman. I am going to do more Supergirls in the future, so I might, depending on resources and stuff, I might use this blue for Supergirl on the future Supergirls. Not 100% sure. And secondly, this one has a matte finish all over everything, which is pretty normal for most of my other figures. I started to experiment something different with Supergirl. So it has a matte finish on all of the red, so all of her legs that is red. The skirt and the cape are all matte finish. Her head, or her hair I should say, is matte finish. But all of the blue, everything on her chest, the symbol on her chest, her flesh tone, on her legs, her hands, her face, and her chest, that actually has a flat finish put on there. It's not it's not Mod Podge because they don't have a flat finish from Mod Podge, but the matte finish. Again, all of the red is matte finish, Mod Podge. All of this blue and the flesh tone has a flat finish, which is also Model Masters acrylic. They have a flat finish. It's the first time I've ever used that on any figure, and I really liked how it came out. And I'm still experimenting a bit because you see kind of some like paint rub, some issues there with the elbow there, but it's not terrible. And I did put some finish there, so going forward I kind of don't do that in the joints, in the areas that rub, hands, knees, and things like that. I won't put any of that finish there. But for what it's worth, I think it looks nice. Though I have already decided after experimenting with this that I'll continue to use Mod Podge on any clothing, any fabric or cloth, something like that for the time being. So in this case, again, the cape, her hair, I'll continue to use Mod Podge matte finish. All flesh tone going forward after this will always be flat finish for as long as I have flat finish to be able to use. So that way skin won't be as glossy and shiny like here in Superman. His face is super shiny, his hands and stuff, but she's not so much. She's pretty flat. So that's how I want everything to look going forward, and so far it's working out pretty well. You'll see in my next custom how well it's going with that strategy. And here our last quick comparison, my custom Wonder Woman with Supergirl. You can see quite a bit of height difference, which I'm glad. And overall, yeah, I would love for, I'm not going to remake this Wonder Woman, but like I said, I'm using the flat finish on all of the flesh tone. I would love for that on this Wonder Woman, because that's one of the biggest things that I don't like about her is that she's just super shiny. I want that sheen in her hair. I want that sheen on the gold and stuff like that, but her skin, there's so much of it, it's just really shiny. And it was just kind of well, I got to deal with it because I need to put something on this flesh tone to protect it. And I've actually had this matte, or excuse me, the flat finish sealant, or finish, I should say, would be more appropriate. I've had it for a long time. I just never had the guts to experiment with it to see what it looked like and what it do. And I was like, you know what, let's, it's been almost probably close to a year since I bought it. So I went ahead and just tried it out, and I really like it. So yeah, I'm not going to do it with, this already being finished, but it definitely looks a lot better in comparison. You see how much shiny her chest is, and her shoulders, and all that compared to that. It looks a lot more subdued, a lot better, what flesh should look like, I guess. Anyway, so that'll be it. Again, I got some more DC on the way, but at the moment I'm about to start prepping those. So they're not finished yet, so probably the end of August or September is when you'll be seeing those. And I do have several other videos to shoot. This is just the first in the pipeline, so make sure you subscribe because I got more videos on the way. Some really fun stuff, some really exciting stuff, some not comic book related stuff. Let's see, 1, 2, where's the other one? Buckle my shoe. 3 of them. They're all three more videos, and they have nothing to do with comic books. Whoa. All right, so I'll see you guys next time. Peace.